Hey, Merrill Valley, we start.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm going to call this special meeting of council to order. It's 9:06 a.m. So with that, I'm moving on to land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the township is gathered on the unceded traditional territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe people, specifically the Madawaskini people of the Madawaska River. We further acknowledge that the Algonquin people have been stewards of this land since time immemorial, and we strive to treat the land, along with the flora and fauna it supports, the people, their customs and traditions, with honor and respect. Today, this area is home to people of all walks of life, and we acknowledge the shared opportunities and responsibilities to live with Shimmiigwich, all my relations. With that, I will see if anyone wants to declare pecuniary interest in today's meeting.
First, we have to adopt the agenda.
Oh,
and
sorry.
I'll move to do that.
Thanks.
I'll second.
That council
Duly
for the
moved.
corporation of the township of South Algonquin adopts the agenda as circulated for the special council meeting of November 22nd, 2023.
So it's been duly moved and seconded. Is there any speakers to the motion? I don't hear anyone, so with that, I will call the vote on the motion. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Anyone
Yes.
against? Okay, someone's against? Okay, who's against?
Nobody is.
No one.
Is it some? Oh, okay. It's carried then, sorry. Okay, so can I now move on to pecuniary interest? Is there anyone that would like to declare pecuniary interest in today's meeting? Okay, near hearing no one, I will declare that no one has pecuniary interest in today's meeting. Okay, so the next, I'm just pulling up the agenda, sorry, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can
Hello?
hear you. You're just breaking up a bit, Merrill Valley, but we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, so is the next item on the agenda? I'm sorry, I don't have the agenda pulled up in front of me because I've got the acknowledgement. Is our next item Wayfair?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Okay, so our next item of business, is the members of Wayfair on? Is Michael and David on?
Yes, they are.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the report from Wayfair. Michael and David will lead this, so I'm going to just turn it right over to them. Good morning, Michael. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. Thank you for having us back.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm wondering if it's not too much trouble if I can share the strat plan from my computer. That way I can scroll through it at a more accommodating pace, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem. I'm gonna make you co-host right now. You should have it now, Michael.
Okay, and can you remove then the thing?
Oh. You can't get on there, Michael?
No, I just wanted to get rid of it. Okay, I'm good to go. Thank you. Just one moment. Okay, council, I just want to make sure that you can all see that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're pleased to be back here today to present you with the final draft, we're calling it, meaning that, you know, if there's something that needs to be raised by council today, we're more than happy to see if we can make any sort of last adjustments before council adopts. So the intent today is to walk you through the content. If there are any questions or comments that council has, I'll pause on each page just to make sure. And following that, we would, if there is no revisions required, or if there are, council would then adopt it at an upcoming regular meeting of council. So we will begin here. Wonderful photo of council. We like to include these because we think people should be able to attach a face to a name. And by the way, we got some really good pictures from your staff. Tracy was very helpful in that regard. Your table of contents here, if you have not used the table of contents as a link, you can, council, you can click on the actual word, for example, land acknowledgement, and it will take you to it. The land acknowledgement is the same one that was read out a few moments ago, with one or two word changes to make it sound as though it's not somebody reading it at the time, but that it's something that can be read by someone rather than a spoken word. Only two words that have changed. The executive summary, we include these in all of our strategic plans. They're helpful to sort of for a reader who may not be as experienced with a strat plan as say council or staff would be, to just better understand the purpose of the strategic plan in goal setting. And it also helps to understand how we got here in terms of the fact that council determined that it was appropriate to do a term of council strategic plan with some extensive consultations with members of staff and council, and also with the online survey, and what it sort of yielded. And it yielded, as you know, these common themes that have been converted or transformed into key priorities. The consultations came together afterwards with a workshop with council, where we got and gained some additional insights, and we made those adjustments to the document. The intent is for it to be about a 4-year plan to sort of get you past the next election, so that the new council could then take it and run with it with any updates or adjustments they see fit. It's essential that any strategic plan is monitored and reported on, so the council is aware of how you're doing. Each time you have one, there's always something that maybe gets delayed or comes up, and it should be checked and reported back to council. And doing so at the same time as the or around the annual budget really allows for council to make any corresponding financial decisions. So that's very helpful. And it's also important that along with the annual reporting, that these are utilized, that your strategic plan is utilized by your own staff to develop their own departmental work plans, so that they get that direction from council. And at the administrative level, the champion to make sure that that happens is your CAO clerk treasurer. So that is your executive summary. Does council have any questions or comments on that?
I disagree with your terminology that there was a high level community survey. I would call it a very basic survey. Certainly not high level in my opinion. And in the land acknowledgement, before we get too far, when we're having a council meeting or a committee meeting or something, we can say that we are gathered, but when we're putting a land acknowledgement in front of a document, do you think the word gathered should be in there on the first line?
So I'm open to any advice that you have, but what we're saying here is that the township itself is gathered on the unceded lands. So you could say incorporated on the unceded lands if you wish, or any other word that you wish.
Well, to gather insinuates that people are coming together in one spot. We're talking about a document here. We're not talking about a meeting.
No, we're talking, the intent of this is to acknowledge where the township itself is. So it could be situated, if you would prefer the word situated.
Yes, situated or located might be a word that could be put in there.
Certainly.
I agree.
Seems to
Located
fit.
or situated, I think it's far better for this document.
Okay, Councillor Florent,
Yes,
you want to add anything?
just the word located, to me, defines it a lot better than gathered
Okay,
in
so
a
we'll change.
document.
Are we comfortable changing it to located?
I think everybody is. I see some heads
Okay.
nodding.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
We will make that change, Council. Thank you. And back to the comment about a high level survey. High level means basic. But if there's if council would like it changed, please do advise what your preference would be.
What's Councillor Collins?
I think we can leave just the word high level out of that. To garner local sentiment, a community survey was made available. I definitely agree with Councillor Florent. That was not a high level survey, but yes, it was a survey. So let's just take the adjective out there.
Comfortable with that?
Who's trying to speak?
Jesus.
Good morning. I have someone trying to speak. No. Okay.
No, I think you're okay. Michael, are you there?
I'm here, but I'm not hearing if somebody else is speaking.
I'm not either. So is there someone else? Is there a member of council trying to speak? Okay,
No,
if not. Okay, we're going to move back to you, Michael.
Okay,
Councillor
so,
Collins was the last one that made a comment.
Yes, we got the comment that we're going to take that out, right? Are we okay with that? We're going to take out high level,
Sure.
okay?
thank you,
Back
Council.
to you, Michael.
Okay, thank you. We have a message here from the mayor. Generally, these are good things to do to sort of articulate the purpose from a council perspective of a strategic plan. And the CAO clerk treasurer's message is included to give the sort of the administrative perspective. So these are the words of your mayor and your CAO. Are there any questions or comments on this?
All good.
All good?
Okay,
Thank you.
I don't know if it's me, but I can't hear if it's Councillor Collins speaking at all. I don't know whether it's can you hear that, Michael and David?
No.
I am not saying anything, Mayor
Okay,
LaValle.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Collins. I'm sorry about this, but it appears that somebody is speaking and we can't pick it up. Okay, so I'm going to move.
There's some noise in the outer office. That might be what you're
I was
picking up.
gonna say, I think it's background noise.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to move it back to Michael, sorry.
Okay, thank you. So the background section is a description of the rough location of the township, that it is a member municipality of the district of Nipissing, and the unique sort of separation that exists physically from the district that ends up in an interesting relationship with the county of Renfrew for some services, with whom you seem to be more closely situated with. Also, a review of comparator municipalities from a financial data standpoint. Our analysis indicates that and this is unusual, that all of the financial indicators are considered low financial risk. We often see a mix of low, medium, high, and so for them all to be low, that's quite good. So you should be pleased with that. So notwithstanding, your excellent financial position, municipalities across the province all experience pressures, and the theme of the day right now, given the economy, has a lot to do with housing and employment, inflationary pressures. The growing infrastructure funding gap has been there for quite some time, and it remains. There are some lingering COVID-19 issues that I don't think are fully understood yet. We're ramping up into another season of when the virus does spike. And then there's the constant pressure of ever-changing municipal landscape. And it's fair to say that these add a lot of pressure to a small municipality with finite resources. But by taking a strategic approach to service delivery and problem solving, which is the purpose of a strategic plan, positions you better for success. And the strategic plan responds to what we heard, and it is there to guide major decision making with respect to allocation of resources and assets through the period of 2023 to 2027. And all staff reports should reference the strategic goals, key priorities, and action items to ensure they align well with council's vision for the township. That is the background. Is council comfortable with that?
Any comments from members of council? I'm not hearing any, so I'm assuming we're comfortable. Go ahead, Michael.
So another fantastic photo provided by your staff. So the mission statement, the township of South Algonquin delivers affordable, efficient, and reliable core services to our community. And a little explanation of what that entails. So the belief that the primary purpose is to deliver excellent core services to your community, and recognizing that the community depends on the township to serve them in a manner that is both financially responsible and proficient, and that you will, through your core values, work as a team to realize the collective mission. Any questions on that?
Any questions? Okay, not hearing any. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. Another really nice photo from within the township. So the township's vision aspires to be a safe, thriving, vibrant community where all people will want to live, work, visit, and invest. And the vision statement is a declaration of objectives. It confirms what most, it's not everything you desire, but we desire most on the long term. And it's deliberate and measurable. So it's something you can come back on and say, did we achieve it? And in so doing, it makes it something that allows you to measure your success. Any questions or comments on that?
Any questions or comments? Okay, seeing or hearing none, Michael, go ahead.
Thank you. So this is just a description of core values. It just really says it's the, you know, your beliefs, it's who you are, it's what guides your actions. It's who you are individually, but also as a team. And it reminds you of how you will do business and deal with the public and guide your day to day. And I'm still on core values on the next slide, so I'll get through the whole thing and then pause there.
Okay, thank you.
So the core values on this slide are integrity and respect, teamwork and accountability and transparency. And the descriptors to help interpret those are striving for high standards of professionalism and ethical behavior in the workplace, being honest, open, and welcoming, and striving for equitable and fair treatment for everyone. With teamwork, it's that council and staff will work together for the benefit of the community to foster an environment of equality for all people, where all people are valued, and building internal and external relationships to achieve common goals. And for accountability and transparency, it's taking responsibility for yourselves as individuals and your work. You need to live up to commitments and to communicate the outcomes to your residents, whether they are the successful outcomes or perhaps some of the less successful outcomes, but communicating those and the accountability and transparency. And fiscal responsibility and sustainability, recognizing that you're all collectively entrusted to deliver services affordably and efficiently, and to accomplish this by adhering to sound fiscal policies, increasing reserves to fund large expenditures by delivering core services, to implementing prudent financial practices. And innovation, consistently striving to be better, improve the way township business is conducted by introducing new approaches, ideas, best practices, or by using new tools or technology. So this is the end of core values. Is there any questions or comments?
Any questions or comments from members of council?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Michael.
So key priorities and action items. So these are a sort of an outline of what they are. And it's really sort of where you turn your vision into action. It's steps you'll take to realize your goals, objectives, and your vision. They're measurable for future monitoring and reporting back to council. Each action is accompanied with a recommended priority ranking for planning purposes. And action items may span a year, multiple years, or require an ongoing effort. It really depends. It's important to note, though, that priority rankings are not cast in stone and may require adjustments. And these priorities should be reviewed annually with council. It's important to report on key priorities and action items annually, as I said in the introductory comments, to ensure that the plan maintains positive momentum. And if, in theory, if there was something that was not moving as well as you'd hope, then council could have that discussion with staff about what steps they may choose to take. The key priorities and action items are asset management, master planning, human resources, finance, service delivery, and housing and employment. Before I go into the specific key priorities and action items, is there any questions or comments there?
Any questions or comments? Okay, go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. So the first one is asset management, and there's a quote from AMO there, which is very true. Municipal governments own more of Ontario's core infrastructure than any other order of government. These facilities are essential to our economic prosperity, health, and quality of life. And the strategic goal to reduce infrastructure funding deficit and expand the use of effective strategies and innovative tools to manage long-term infrastructure needs. And a very nice photo of your team out there in the field working on some of your key infrastructure, drainage, ditching, and the likes. So when it comes to the asset management action items. These are the ones, you'll recall, council, that we went through at the workshop. But on this page, they are repair paved surfaces, and there are some of the roads identified. And it is identified as a P1 ranking. The implement drainage improvements, so convert culverts to HDP and do some ditching work as a P2, and implement a rolling re-gravel program as a P2 as well. And the next three are replace the 1996 Whitney pumper, P3, replace the 1998 Madawaska mini pumper, also a P3, and do some renovations at the Whitney Fire Hall, which, according to your chief, include washrooms and shower facilities, also a P3. One of the things we always ask when we're talking about replacing large apparatus in the fire department, or potentially also in public works, is whether your facilities are large enough to fit them. And in our discussions with the chief, we believe that that is the case. So there's no additional action item needed to make those happen. These are your asset management items. So I'll pause here and ask, are there any questions or comments?
Any questions or comments from members of council?
Yes, I do have. My understanding was within this process of strategic planning, you would come out with what you've already spoke about, and then looked at each of our pillars, so to speak, and give us a strategic goal. And I didn't realize that the exercise was as well to gain sort of action items, which you've just listed. So my question at the end of all of this, if we are going to pass this as read or as a bylaw, are we also passing the action items?
So you are adopting it as a strategic plan, but the verbiage within this document indicates that council will review them annually to make sure that they maintain their relevance. And you are not, it is not cast in stone to the extent that you must do something here. You can, council, it has full discretion on an annual basis to look at these and pause one, for example, remove one, or maintain them all. It's at full discretion. So it's not something that you can't get out of. Yes, each key priority does have a strategic goal. In this case, the strategic goal was to reduce infrastructure funding deficit, expand the use of effective strategies and innovative tools to manage long-term infrastructure needs.
And thank you. I assumed that was what we were going to end up with. A final strategic plan was along with the goals. I didn't realize that also included the action items. My other question was, how did you rank those? I see you have like a P1, P2, P3. So do you have a ranking system? Or is that just going by how many times somebody said we need to make some major changes on Major Lake, Hay Creek, etc.?
Yeah, it's a good question. It is a bit of, the first part is, it does come from how often we hear it, but not exclusively to that. It's also through probing with, so in this case, you can imagine that we were probing your senior staff that are responsible for things like roads and drainage, your public
right.
And also through probing on the next slide, which is the your fire chief. Then what we look at, and this is not always the case, but sometimes there is something that must happen first before another thing. So we would rank the thing that has to happen first, a P1, and then if the next thing counted on that P1 for happening, it would be a P2. Then the final step is we meet with your CAO and say, how do you feel about these rankings? Do any cause concern? But the final step is today's step. So if council were concerned about any of these rankings, we would certainly receive your feedback and make any adjustments that you felt were appropriate.
I would suggest under the repair paved surfaces that you include the word road after Major Lake, Hay Creek, and Nipissing,
Certainly.
because we don't pave the lakes or the creeks. So.
It's a fair comment, yes.
I also noticed, Michael, just now that Churchill Street is actually Churchill, or you have Churchill Drive and it's Churchill Street, broken into two different words there.
Thank you.
It's not Churchill, it's Church
Yeah.
Hill.
Okay, thank you. That's one of the downsides of not meeting or talking over the internet. Okay, thank you. That's very helpful. Anything else, council?
Okay. Hearing or seeing no one, will go ahead.
So the second key priority is master planning, and there's a quote from someone in the business. I would say it's so that the master plan is a dynamic long-term planning document, provides conceptual layout to guide future growth and the development of your organization. So important takeaway here is your master plan helps you point yourself in the right direction. It too is not always cast in stone, but it is the thing that helps guide your next level of decision making. So the strategic goal is to identify long-term goals through consultation and analysis, and to develop a sustainable planned approach to goal achievement. As we move into the action items, we can see here that we're looking at the first one is finalize the update to the comprehensive zoning bylaw, and we understand that's underway as a P1. Implementing regular long-term monitoring and planning of landfill sites. This is for expansion and closure. And I mentioned when we met during the workshop that I was quite impressed with hearing this from your staff, your public works leader. We find a lot of municipalities miss this step, and they get caught at the the very end and haven't done the necessary planning to make sure that this happens in a cost-effective manner.
Are you insinuating that we don't do that now?
I'm not insinuating anything. What I'm saying, I thought it was a very good idea to have embedded in your strategic plan. And by the sound of it from your public works fellow, he's already on it.
Well, take out the word implement then, because we're already doing it.
So I don't know, so I received the feedback. So I don't know what long-term monitoring and planning is in place. There may be more to go. If he's there today, I welcome his feedback. I'm not sure he is though.
Yes, he is.
Yeah.
Yes, he's here.
Yeah, so there is annual monitoring that goes in place and capacity checks on a yearly basis. I think what I meant was more of just about like a 5 or 10 year plan on where stuff is going to be positioned in the landfills and stuff, which Joe was right. There is a long-term plan. It's just to have a good, next year, this is what we're planning on doing at landfill site, where stuff is going. It's nice to reiterate that with the guys and the crews and just have something locked down for like a 5-year term. So that's more of what I sort of mentioned. And then as you're coming up, I guess, with your, you have to make sure that you're checking all your grades. And we do have annual surveys, make sure we're within boundaries, but just to make sure those annual surveys are checked on an annual basis to make sure we're within our parameters and stuff. So that's more or less what I meant during our discussions earlier.
So is council comfortable with the removal of the word implement?
It makes me feel good.
Anyone have any opposition to that, to remove the word implement?
You could replace
Okay.
it with continue.
Can we replace it with continue?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Michael, you okay with that?
I'm very comfortable with that, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to add continue, take out implement, add continue. Okay, moving on, Michael.
Okay, adopting a vehicle and equipment replacement plan, can be helpful on long-term financial planning. Forming strategic partnerships with Algonquin Park, business community, the Algonquins, mills, local schools to realize mutual goals. We talked about that a little bit at the workshop. Tracking service requests. So by tracking service requests, they can really paint a picture for you, tell you what's going on, where your pressure points are, and it can be very helpful when you consider your review of your service delivery and your service levels. Reporting annually on any master plans and strategies. So the primary one here is your strategic plan itself, but you may have at some point, you may adopt a master plan on something else, whether it's housing or so forth. And keeping in mind that you'll on that, and council will review that and make determinations on the information that they're presented with. And developing a strategy to increase high-speed internet and improve cell coverage. And I understand that there was a recent report from your CAO about that. So these are the ones under master planning. So I will pause there and just see if there's any other additional feedback other than what we've received so far.
Any additional feedback from members of council and what we've done so far? Okay, I'm not hearing anyone. Okay, we can move on, Michael.
Over
Thank
to
you.
resources. Just a quote from Richard Branson about having the best trained people and but treating them well enough that they don't want to leave. The strategic goal is to take the best care of employees and ensure that the best fit between employees and jobs while shortages or surpluses. That's an important thing. Sometimes you see that you've got a good employee who may not be in the right job. So if you do an organizational review in the future, that would be one of the things we would certainly recommend that you consider, especially with small workforces like your own. It's really important to be as tight as you can be in that regard. With respect to the action items, during the workshop, we discussed the professional development program, both for council and staff, to make sure that legislation, especially with the provincial government we have now, it is really evolving very quickly. Making sure that you have the opportunities to receive specific training that may be helpful there. An issue that we see in many volunteer fire departments is trying to recruit younger firefighters. So a strategy there. Having a succession plan strategy for when an employee may depart. That may be, they may just move into a different position. They may retire, and or there may be other circumstances, a temporary absence as well. So the succession plan strategy can help you with that. Undertaking an organizational review that's informed by a service delivery review. So make sure that you organize based on the services that council feels strongly about. And having that look, we always recommend that municipalities have that look. And they should do it about every 5 years, comprehensively at least once. And then looking back at it about every 5 years is always good. And then filling the vacant deputy clerk position permanently, but it would be important to, if you're moving forward on an organizational review, to consider waiting for that to be done, so that if there are any changes recommended for that position, that you do so and then post the position. So that is the human resources slides. Council, are there any questions or comments?
Any questions or comment on the human resources? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so we'll move on. Michael, thank you.
So fine.
Can we go back?
Sure.
Okay. Council Floyd, is that you, Council Floyd?
Yes, it is. It always is,
Okay.
isn't it?
No, not always, but go ahead.
I don't think that filling the vacancy deputy clerk position should be in our strategic plan or official plan. It's just a natural course of business. Like, say if we fill that position in 6 months, and this strategic plan is gonna be in the public eye for the next 5 years, it kinda, this is a long-term plan. It's not a tomorrow plan. And filling the position, I think, is a tomorrow plan.
Well,
I
and wouldn't
think-
that also fall under organizational review?
Yeah,
I think that kind of covers that topic.
I
Okay,
would think so
Council-
too.
Council Rodney, thank you. Going back to you. Michael, what's your suggestion here? Yeah, I had a question about that myself, about how we frame that. Go
So-
ahead, Michael.
There's nothing wrong with the suggestion of removing it. And I understand, I appreciate the feedback as to why, council may feel that it need not be there. And again, it's a comfort level for council. This is your strategic plan. So this is why we're here and why we're, going through these. You can leave it in, as is, or you can remove it, or you can adjust it. And if council would prefer to have it removed, I'm happy to accommodate that in the final version.
Who, do I have a speaker?
Yes, it's Joan. I just,
Joan.
again, going back to my first comment was that we have all these action items listed, and Joe's right, that's probably something that shouldn't be there. But as a council, we should be saying that this is where we want our resources, our time spent, and pick, 3 out of each action item. My gosh, we have 6 pillars. That would be, 24, whatever, 18 action items, whatever you choose to do. And that might be a little overwhelming and then you post this, people are going to expect us to do it all, basically. I think I've seen other townships that they choose 2 or 3, they post it, these are where our resources are going, so that the public says, oh yes, they're doing a lot with the roads, they're doing a lot with succession planning, whatever the case may be. But then, there's the other ones that maybe not have made the cut, but are still being worked on. I just think that if you put it all out there, people are going to expect all of this to be done within a matter of a couple of years versus the 5 years.
So part of the strategic planning, monitoring and reporting is to discuss which ones will be done on a yearly basis. So I would assume after you adopt this, that your staff would come to you and in the new year with the budget and say, as part of a report, so the public could see that. And say,
Yes.
we're recommending the following be done this year as part of our strategic plan, so that there's a record of the ones that council felt most comfortable directing staff to undertake, and also to fund if necessary. I think there's a good paper trail in terms of decision making, in terms of when to go with that. If I could come back to HR 5 for one moment, I think I'm hearing from council that there seems to be a leaning towards removing that. Would that be the case?
Council
I
wish
think
to
so.
have it removed? Okay. Anyone opposed to having it removed? Okay, I'm not hearing anything, so maybe we could remove it, Michael. Thank you.
Just a little comment. It's important to recognize that this is a 4-year plan. And certainly the expectation is not everything would be done in year 1. And in fact, through our discussions with Brian, our draft included actually a year of implementation as a guideline. And we were discussed the merits of keeping that in or taking it out, and we actually choose to take it out so that wouldn't pigeonhole you into any timeline. That you as South Algonquin would have control over the timeline. So I think in fairness, you want to be somewhat ambitious, but you want to be realistic in terms of what the action items are. You have a 4-year window to do them, and you're in full control of the timing of it. So I think, from comparing other plans we did, I don't think we have too many action items in there. I think it is achievable. You might not hit the mark on every one of them, but understanding that you control the timeline, you control when it's done, and I think it is achievable. So just wanted to add those comments.
Thank you,
David.
David.
We're losing our volume on David quite a bit here. I want to just correct one thing. We actually only have 3 years to accomplish this. There's 3 years left in this term.
I would just point out that you're not required to accomplish it in the full term. It's very, very common for a council to get 2/3, 1/2, 3/4 through a strategic plan and carry those forward in an update. You have a finite capacity. You've identified what your priorities are, but your ability to achieve them, you can't predict what's coming next year. For example, there may be some challenge next year that is an impediment to achieving 2, 3, 4 of them. It could be a staff departure, it could be a financial matter. So you're not required to finish them in this year. And I think we've covered that in the language, but I will go back and look at that and just see if there's a few extra words that could be in there. Just to clarify that, so that your concerns about the public seeing it, they would understand that it's not an absolute that they all be completed within the term.
Okay, moving on.
Okay, you were a little broken up, but
Any
I'm
other
gonna
comment?
go ahead.
We can move on.
So into finance. So the province's quote here is the municipal governments are responsible for delivering services to local residents and must manage their finances efficiently. That's in a document produced by the province. And the strategic goals to develop strategies to achieve long-term financial sustainability as well as deliver high-quality services. And as I said earlier, you're in a very enviable position in terms of where you stand financially compared to many of your competitors. So that's well done. In terms of finance, at the moment, your asset management plan is a good plan. It is not yet integrated fully into your annual budget. So carrying that forward into the budget was identified. Implementing a long-range capital forecast that harmonizes any of your master plans that identify funding that's needed on the capital side. Very helpful planning tool. Adopting a strategy to increase reserves. You'll recall that in the survey, of all of the survey questions that were answered, this came in very, very strongly. And adopting the budget approval timeline to approve the budget by February, and adopting a grant monitoring and acquisition strategy policy. So help sort of focus on the grants that are best suited for South Algonquin and meet with council's approval, and not necessarily some of the grants that are less effective or less efficient for South Algonquin itself. Separating the operating capital budgets, that's a wise move. Developing a corporate strategy for the implementation of the new financial software. That's an important thing to make sure that happens properly. Finalizing the asset management plan to meet the 2025 statutory requirements, and you're on your way to doing that, but that's not complete. And preparing a staff report to outline the merits and drawbacks of implementing multi-year budgets, so the council can really consider that and decide what is the best fit for South Algonquin. So I will pause there.
Any questions or comments from member council? Okay, I'm not hearing or seeing anything, so we can move on. Michael?
And this key priority service delivery, Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing, there are ever increasing expectations for governments to make informed choices about the services they provide to their citizens. This is evident for municipalities where they're facing times of positive economic growth, whereas we are now periods of fiscal constraint, some might say, many might say. Strategic goal to implement strategies, policies, and programs designed to enhance delivery of core services within the township. And when we look at this, conducting a service delivery review to ensure that core services are delivered efficiently, as well as inform an organizational review to ensure that resources that are needed to deliver the services that council wants, they match up. Develop an internal and external communication strategy and linking that to the roadmap to services. Then the roadmap to services to clearly indicate how residents can access services and linking that to the communication strategy. Conducting a pilot program to test the efficiency of committee of the whole governance model. Reviewing the ENR bylaw. Investigating and pursuing the transition, resource recovery and circular economy act. Consider options for garbage collection service levels. And this was added in our last workshop, you'll recall, and if, hopefully we captured the intent. Consult with the recreation committees to coordinate services and consider ways to offer more township support. And investigate opportunities to increase capacity of boat launches. And we heard two themes there. One was more tied to parking, and one was more tied to the actual capacity of the boat launch itself. So I will pause there.
Any questions or comments or concerns with this section? Okay, I don't hear anyone or see anyone. Go ahead, Michael.
And the final key priority, housing and employment, by far the very strongest theme we heard during all of our discussions, as well as during the survey, I would say. And a quote from the Ontario Chamber of Commerce this past summer: the housing affordability crisis is significantly impacting the ability of businesses to attract and retain talent, exacerbating challenges associated with ongoing labor shortages, an aging workforce, and the housing crisis itself. And the strategic goal to carefully adopt new plans and policies that will help attract new housing and employment opportunities that are the best fit for all residents of the township. And under the action items, implement a local housing strategy, including a review of opportunities to increase available lots, which in the end should help with more homes. And that would be built on the work that's already been completed or underway by the Nipissing strategy. Develop a temporary housing strategy for migrant workers, and this could, I think, be coordinated well with the housing strategy itself. And in conjunction with the service delivery review, identify and implement tools to assist with housing and economic development strategies. David walked you through a few of those during the last workshop. Transitioning from the long-term care arrangement, the investment of $110 a year. And I recall Mayor pointing out that that is gaining some traction and momentum, and but an important one. So it remains. One we heard a lot of as well is developing some form of seniors at home plan to help with all kinds of the challenges of remaining at home for seniors. Identifying short-term accommodation options for EMS. Implementing an economic development and tourism strategy tailored for South Algonquin with the theme of safe and small town feel. And identifying business opportunities with the lumber industry that may be of collateral benefit as well. I will pause there.
Any questions or comments or concerns?
I would say, identify short-term accommodation options for EMS is probably not required to be there, just like, because it is very specific.
Okay, that came up, I believe, with some of the members of council, so I'll defer to David to just elaborate, and then if council wishes to discuss that and provide direction, that's great.
Yeah, I heard
Okay.
this on 2 or 3 of the interviews I did, recognizing that especially when there's backfilling for your full-time EMS people, that when they're on holidays or on vacation or they're sick, they backfill from other jurisdictions, and when they come, they really have no place to stay, and some are bringing camper trailers and that type of thing. So it came up. It came up a number of times. Does it need to be in there? It's kind of the purpose of listing the action items, is to sort of set your priorities so that your staff have some direction of what is important. And as I said, it did come up, and that's why it's listed there for consideration.
Thank you, Councillor Councillor Quick, thank you. Could we possibly add here, and maybe it might help it a bit. Could we add that council continue to work with DSAB, the District Social Services Board, to look at housing for EMS workers? Would that help?
It
Because
would
I
be
think-
better than what's there now.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
would
would-
that help if we did that? Because that's what we're trying to do. I mean, DSAB, we have a role here, but DSAB also has a role here. These workers are their employees.
Yeah, that's certainly, we can add that to the start of, so work with
Okay.
DSAB to identify short-term. So that's
Yeah.
easy to add.
Would that help?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think that's it, Mayor, in terms of the action items. Just before I move on to the next section, I'll pause and see if there's anything you wanted to say, Mayor, or ask if there's any further questions.
Does anyone else, any members of council wish to add anything before we move on? Okay, I'm not hearing anyone, so we could maybe move on, Michael.
Good. So we always prepare what we call an at-a-glance summary sheet. It's a abbreviated sheet where we compile the core elements of your strategic plan onto one sheet as a reference tool. Some members of staff pin it up on their boards. Some counselors stick it in a binder and what have you, but it's a good reference tool. So it's basically what we just talked about. It includes your mission, your vision, your core values, and your key priorities and action items in bulleted form. Just something to keep around for quick reference. We will make, of course, any adjustments based on what we heard today to this, but it's just a quick reference tool. I'm assuming there isn't any questions on this, but I'll pause for a second, Mayor, just to make sure.
Any questions or comments on this? I want to wholeheartedly agree. I think that the at-a-glance thing is very, very, very helpful, and I think that it gives us a chance to maybe look at it and review it and keep us on track. So I like it. So, any other members of council wish to say anything? Okay, we're moving on, Michael.
This next one is just a sample of how in tabular form, there would be a report, of course, that your administrative team would put together, but how in tabular form, for quick reference as well, how your staff might include in the back of any staff report where they elaborate in tabular form each of your key priorities and generally, what their status is, who the contact is, and what have you. And of course, if there was something to say in the staff report, that would be elaborated on. It's just a tool that your staff can use to help give you a quick update on the various things on an annual basis. Just a tool that they can use. With that,
Anyone opposed to this tool? Okay,
I'm
no
not
comment.
not opposed to it, but I seen it back in the document now on here about development of a recruitment strategy to attract young firefighters. In a community where the average age is 57 years old, it's almost an impossible task. There aren't any young people to recruit. I don't know what the magic answer there is or how you're going to implement that.
yeah, there's a fair comment. It is one of the biggest challenges we see with volunteer departments. But if you don't identify it as one of your challenges that you're going to try to address, then it's likely not going to happen. Your chief wanted, to put his best foot forward on this and do his best to come up with something there. I think it's a commendable step. How successful it will be, I guess is a a question based on demographics and other factors. But if you don't identify it, it won't be something that you attempt to address.
Well, I understand there's a little bit of a baby boom going on right now, but that might help us 20 years down the road, but it's not much help in the next 3 or 4.
Well, maybe I hear it, Council Floyd. Maybe what we're trying to do is, if we ever get some housing and things going, maybe we can attract some of our younger people to move home.
Well, it's possible.
I think, Mayor LaValle, that's exactly correct. We've got to put plans A and B in place before C is going to happen. Let's be realistic.
Well, we have to be absolutely realistic, and we have to remember that people aren't going to move home for a 5-month job. They need a job 12 months of the year, so we have to work on that.
Agreed.
I have one comment that this is great. The report card, would you be able to do a scorecard where you would have indicators, etc., that's what would be reported back to?
Yeah, some municipalities go to that extent. Yes, absolutely. Your administrative team would sit down and say, what do we recommend are the indicators here that we're going to measure and based on local conditions. And that could go into the staff report for sure.
Okay, anyone opposed to adding scorecard? Okay, I'm not hearing anyone, so we will do that. Thanks, Councillor Kuyak. Michael?
Well, that is it, Madam Mayor. That is your strategic plan. We've got a little bit of feedback to address and get back to you. We will do so in very short order, and we will have it back to you. I can't imagine it being any later than in a few days.
Okay, let me just ask members of council if there's any overall comments or concerns before we move on.
I think we should stress that there are open houses planned for next week, and that this is essentially a draft. And I'm making this comment for the people that may be viewing on YouTube, that bring your suggestions to the open house, either in Whitney next Wednesday.
The plan, no, not this plan.
Oh, it is?
That's the official plan.
Okay, my mistake. We got too many plans
That's
going on.
okay. That's okay, Councillor Floyd.
I would
Who
just
else did I
like
have?
Yeah, it's Joan again. I'd like to just thank David and Michael for all their hard work. Certainly has given us a starting point. And, going forward, when this has to be renewed, you already have your strategic goals set there. It would be your action items that would change. So thank you.
Yes,
Thank you, Council.
and you're right,
Thanks.
your staff can take it and run with it now, and work with you on that, in the coming, years, for sure.
Again, I want to echo what Council Quirk has said too. I want to thank Michael and David for all the work you've done. You've been, listened to us. You've you've changed where you felt members of council felt there should be changes, and that's the kind of collaboration and work that I was hoping we'd have and we've had. So I too want to say a big thank you to both of you. And, we're not finished yet, but it is hoped that this plan will come before council at the December 6th meeting, unless something goes off the rails here. So I just want to let members of council know that, and say again, a big heartfelt thank you to both of you. So that's where we will move to from here.
Well, I just want to thank council and staff and Mayor LaValle for the cooperation that I received during the process. I was enjoyed working with each of you, and I wish you all the best in its implementation.
Thank you.
Thank you, David.
We really appreciate.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, David, very, very, very much.
Okay, have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Okay, so with that, I'm just looking at our.
Oh, she's
Hello?
muted.
Can you hear me?
You muted yourself there.
You're good. We hear you now.
Okay, so, moving along then, so we're going to move this into council meeting, December 6th. Is there any concern with that? Okay, hearing none. At this point, we're going to move on to the confirmation bylaw, and Tricia's going to lead us through that.
I'll make the motion.
It's been moved by
second.
council, been moved and seconded. Tracy,
Yep, that bylaw 2023-771, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council will be read a first time and deemed read a second time.
been duly moved and seconded, been read a first and second time. Any concerns, comments? Hearing none, all those in favor? Anyone opposed?
Nope.
It's carried, so I'll get a move and a seconder for third reading.
I'll move the second.
Then duly moved. Do I have a seconder?
I'm happy to second.
Okay, go ahead, Tracy.
Bylaw 2023-771, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council will be read a third time and passed.
It's been duly moved and seconded. It's been read a third time. Anyone wish to speak to this? Hearing no one. All those in favor?
Or
Anyone against? Hearing none, I declare it read and passed a third time. If I don't hear or see anything else from members of council, I would entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting. Somebody may want to tell me 10:15 a.m. Do I have a
I'll
move
make
in a
it.
second? Moved by Councilor Florence, seconded by,
I'll second it.
was that you, Councilor Roberts?
Counselor Rodnick.
Yes. Moved by Councilor Florence, seconded by Councilor Rodnick, that we adjourn the special meeting
The
at
council
10:50.
corporation of the Township of South Algonquin adjourns the special council meeting of November 22nd, 2023 at 12:15 a.m.
10:15.
Oh, sorry, 10:15 a.m. Sorry, thank you.
That's okay. It's been duly
I'm used to those longer meetings.
moved and seconded. Okay, it's been duly moved and seconded. Any comments, questions? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you, members of council and staff. I think we got a lot of work done in a short period of time. So have a wonderful day, and we'll see you all